Welcome back. Friendships endure even as times change. A quarter century ago, the Riverdale Press featured childhood friends from Van Cortlandt Village and Kingsbridge Heights in the 25th Turkey Bowl game. Remarkably, they're gearing up for their 50th Turkey Bowl at Harris Field. Joining us to tell us more are the members of the Bronx Boys, Barry Kesten and Nate Schlanger. Thank you both so much for joining me.
Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
I feel like I got to address the elephant or the room, or should I say the trophy on the table. Is this the Turkey Bowl trophy? Is this what you get after, you win every year? Tell me about it.
So originally it was in the beginning when we were younger, a little more competitive. We introduced the MVP trophy. We played hard, but we kid around a lot. We have a lot of fun. And we introduced the MVP trophy to whoever played best that day. And we did it for a number of years. And after a while, we realized we're done with the MVP. It's more about the friendships. And we stopped competing for a trophy. It's more about the friendships.
And these are some of the shirts you guys had, or tell me about that.
Yeah, these are all the shirts we've had over the years, signifying different things. This is a Bronx Boy 40th T-shirt. We were all basically on the DeWitt Clinton math team, most of us, so they we have there. This was our Bronx Boys softball team, which we had, and I just wanted to mention we stopped giving out the trophy because I was winning every year, so they said that's it, enough.
Listen, I get it. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? We don't need it anymore. But let's back up a little bit. And so can you take us through the journey of the Turkey Bowl from its inception 50 years ago to present day?
Sure. So what started as a game of football really morphed into a game of life. We grew up together. We've known each other 50, 60 years. We went to school together. Many of us went to PS 95. John Tate taught 143, 141 also. DeWitt Clinton, Bronx Science, Horace Mann, all Bronx schools. And we stayed close friends, and maybe 25 of us, more if you had a lot of our female friends as well. And we stayed close over the years. And in 1974, when we graduated high school, Nate was the one who came up there, let's play, football for Thanksgiving. We'll all come back to our families for Thanksgiving. And that's the first time we actually started playing the game.
Yeah, we played on the weekend of Thanksgiving because I guess Thanksgiving was set aside for the family. And, every year we played and we went out. We had roasts and stuff like that. And it was one thing it did, over the past 50 years, it kept us connected as friends. But not only that, it kept us connected in the Bronx because many of us now live outside of the Bronx. But it was a great connection.
So 50 years this year. Tell me, how does that feel?
Feels older, for one thing. It's part of the journey. We started off simply playing football, the 18-year-old guys playing football. Over the years, as Nate mentioned, we'd play the game in the morning, we'd go to the Riverdale Diner for lunch, and then, maybe 5, 10 years into it, if we had girlfriends or significant others, we went and had dinner that night. So our wives and girlfriends became friends with each other. So the routine continued, football in the morning, grab somewhere for lunch, and the night go out for dinner. And the dinner, as mentioned, was having dinner, but also roasting and toasting. We'll make fun of each other. Nate said he won the MVP so many times. It's not true. It's probably just once. But that's the type of kidding that we constantly did with each other. So over the years, we've grown really close. Our wives grown close. Our kids started to play. My son Jason was the first one playing. When he turned 18 and he turned 12, he joined us. So now when we play, we've slowed down, but our kids play the game now. The kids come to dinner. We have maybe 50, 60 people joining us for dinner this Saturday night. So it's become more a family and tradition, and the game is just a smaller part, but it's a meaningful part of it.
You guys talk a little bit about how things like locations and other, players' locations, how things have evolved over the last 50 years. So are there any aspects of the game that might have changed over time as well?
Not many aspects. I think the fact that I always came late to the game, that never changed. And we still go and we go out and eat in Bronx. We try in Bronx locations, and we, So the only aspect is we've slowed down, we've gotten old, but the good thing is our kids are now playing and carrying on the tradition. So again, it's a little tougher to play, like you mentioned, 50 years. It's tough to play, get a lot of aches, but at least our kids are playing, and it makes it keeps the tradition going, and we're happy about that.
So you're the one who showed up 45 minutes after the 9 a.m. call time, huh?
Well, yeah,
Thank you.
it wasn't all my fault because Barry usually gets to the field early to set up the field, and then he makes up the time. He asks me, "What time you want to play?" I say 10. He says, "Okay, we're starting at 9." So I always end up being late because I can't get there at 9 o'clock.
It is early. It is early. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes they tell me 8 o'clock here, and I'm like, really? 8 o'clock? But, with that, you guys have kind of mentioned the Turkey Bowl is more than just an actual game itself. So can you elaborate on how the tradition has strengthened within the community, and not only the players, but, your families as well? Just a little bit more about that.
To me, it's mostly about the kids. They see the way we've grown up. We're a close group of friends. We've become family. Our kids know each other now. They're family as well. And to see the traditions we have and what we've continued over the years, they all look forward to coming. For dinner and for the game, we'll have about 20 of our kids in total coming. So it's nice to see the family aspect of that we're passing that on, what friends can mean and being together.
Yeah. Well, Barry mentioned it's really life, and it's just a great thing to be able to still be friends with people you knew 50 years ago. I mean, there's nothing more important than having friends that you grew up with and stay friends with them, and we experience each other's celebrations, and sometimes there's some hard times, but at least we experience it together, and it's been a great run, and we hope it continues. Yeah.
And so, you talked a little bit about how when you guys go to dinner, there's some roasting, there's some toasting. So, tell me a little bit about the post-game dynamics. Or is anybody there like, no, you did something that you weren't supposed to. What are those post-game dynamics like?
Well, don't do anything wrong that day, and don't do anything wrong in the months leading to that, because whatever it is, nothing is off limits. Everything will be brought up. Everything will be commented upon. Nate's lateness is always part of it. Nate always lies about how many games the CUNY teams won versus the SUNY teams. So usually there's arguments and discussions on that.
Yeah, we make fun of everybody. We have a roast, and basically we start making fun of everybody that was at the game that year, and it's all in fun. There's some truth to it. We have some friends who no matter what happens when we play, somehow they get injured, and so they can't play. So we make a lot of fun of people, but it's all in good fun.
And so, just as we wrap up, we have a minute left. Just tell me, what is your advice to a young group of friends kind of like that? What is your advice to kind of help people maintain friendships? Because it's not something that's easy, So what is your advice on that?
Yeah, don't take it for granted. Friends can be just a matter of convenience. If you live close to each other, it's easy to be friends. Most of us are in the tri-state area, but we're not necessarily close. We could be an hour, 2 hours away. So you have to make the effort. You have to organize something. And something like the Turkey Bowl was one way that we know at least once a year, all of us are together. And what that led to is during the summer, we'd have picnics, we'll go to somebody's house, we'll go swimming. So I would say, you don't choose your friends, but pick the friends you want to be lifetime friends with and make efforts.
Yeah, and I think it's important, life can be crazy, and you could lose track of things. But if you have a connection, with your friends, and you keep making connections that will make you get together all the time. Like, one time we also had season tickets for the Knicks. So we kept, there was some kind of connection aside from our everyday crazy life that was going on that kept us together. And I think that's really the most important thing, because there's nothing better than having friends, for over 50 years, people you can count on, talk to, and give you advice on all things that you need. So it's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, I want to thank you both for joining us today, and congratulations on 50 years.
Thank you very much.
All right.